You're watching the Bethel College Football Show.
I say, brother, you stay hood! Brother, hood, brother, hood, brother, hood!
Sears is going to fake the pitch to Juarez. DJ Sears in for the touchdown.
Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside head football coach of the Threshers, A.B. Stokes. The Threshers 2-0, fresh off a 28-16 victory over the Friends Falcons. And Bethel improves to 2-0 on the conference and 2-0 on the year. And in the most recent NAIA polls, jumps up one spot to number 22 in the country. And what a game it was. Cold, rain, all sorts of things. We're lucky there wasn't a thunderstorm, but it was just, before we get into the specifics, Coach, I mean, now that you've kind of had a chance to wash your hands of that game, like, what do you see when you look back at it?
I mean, it was about what I thought it would be, you know. We talked last week about how we knew those guys would be prepared, you know, coming off of the loss to Kansas Wesleyan, and how, you know, knowing the staff, how we knew they would be up and ready to for their home opener against his previous school. So, you know, I expected them to come out and just play with everything they had. And I told our guys all week, like, prepare for a dogfight. Like, you know, don't look at scores or anything like that. Like, prepare for a dogfight. I told them all week, you know, so it was about like I expected. Besides being down, I never expect to be down, but, you know, we just deal with it once it comes. But it was a great game. Hats off to them. And somebody, you know, was like, well, you know, you guys got things to improve on. Absolutely we do, but it always feels better when you win and have things to improve on, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there for a while, it just kind of felt weird. It's like, wait a minute, I don't put these people with that location together sometimes. Still getting used to that kind of a thing, and you know, seeing people in the hallways and stuff like that. But you know, it was just a game where you guys kind of started off a little rough.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, I maybe I was being too kind, but
it's okay. It was a lot. It was a lot.
You were thinking you had a good return on the opening kick, and ball pops out. They get it. You guys hold them to a field goal, and they got a really good kicker that has got quite a leg and consistent and things like that. So they go up 3-0, and then it's just kind of offense kind of struggles a little bit to get started, figure some things out versus what they were doing, and then Friends adds a touchdown to it to go up 10-0, and then to close out the first half, you guys make a little bit of run at it at the very end of the second quarter. And DJ Sears, I don't know how he stayed in bounds to this day. It reminded me of times of his freshman year, times where he would just go out of bounds. And you could tell he was putting every effort he could into stretch. I don't know if you've seen the video, but he's tipping, he's going backwards.
Yeah.
He's just like reaching with all of his complete wingspan for that end zone, and you know, it was quite the play, and no question, 3 rushing touchdowns for him. He's now tied for second in the country with 4 rushing touchdowns on the season. DJ Sears is. So an incredible performance from him. Rushed for 139 yards, averaging 9 yards per carry to DJ Sears. And then you guys got things going in the ground game as well with Chance Scurry. Chance ends up with 73 yards rushing. Cash McRae, 65 yards rushing as well in the game. But that touchdown was really helpful. It was a 10-7 game going into half.
Well, we felt like, it was the first half was again another story of penalties, because on our very first drive after they kicked the field goal, we're driving, we get a first down or two, and then we get I think a block in the back or unsportsmanlike. I disagreed with it. I thought that there wasn't a whistle yet, but it's what happens, and we ended up with a third or and long, like 3rd and 20 or something like that. And so I thought that we were moving the ball and doing some good things, but we had a few penalties that put us back. Couple more blown assignments, and then obviously a missed field goal. So I thought we knew it was 10-7, but we knew that we could have easily potentially been up 17-10, or if we hadn't fumbled the opening kickoff, 17 or 21-7. That's how we felt going into halftime. We kind of felt like, man, we should definitely be up right now, and if we can play like we knew we could play in the second half, then we were pretty confident that good things were happening, because our defense was playing so well. They were playing really, really well, and when you can play well against a flex bone team, then you're always going to have a chance.
Absolutely, yeah. And that touchdown was so huge for you guys, because I kept thinking in my mind, knowing the personnel on that sideline, they're very good at making it second half adjustments and halftime things, fixing some things. I know there's some variables that you applied on defense as well to counteract that. But in the third quarter, you guys come out. They get the ball first, and I believe you get a stop there, and then really just things kind of keep going. It's a little bit slower, but three touchdowns in the second half. DJ rushes for a long one, 42 yards, and I believe the other one was from 14 yards there on the north goal, and that was really big for you guys going up. What was it?
21-10.
21-10. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we came out the third quarter though. We actually came out pretty fast in the third quarter. We scored on our first 2 drives of the third quarter.
Yeah.
So it was like we came out, stopped, score, turnover, score, and then it kind of throttled down, because we were over on the sideline. And sometimes I think it's like just karma when you say things like, one more score and it's out of reach, kind of things like that. Now, it wasn't necessarily said like that, but that was kind of you could feel it. Like, we felt like one more score, get that thing to 28-10 going into the fourth quarter, and we kind of felt like, oh yeah, well, the sales would have been, on the verge of going down. I know they weren't going to quit, but that doubt would have definitely begun to creep in. But we didn't get a chance to put it away, and they were able to break one more long one in the fourth quarter to get it to 21-16. But even with that, our defense, they weren't panicked. They were saying, well, it's on us. You know what I mean? If we didn't score anymore, they were like, it's on us. If that they felt that they were definitely gonna get another stop, because even on that long run, 60-plus yarder, their fullback was touched by one of our players at the line of scrimmage. Dang near wrapped up, and he just slipped. He slipped the tackle, and if we make that tackle, I don't think they get in. I don't think they get in on that drive.
Yeah, I mean, in the first half, really just the story for the game. Defense played tremendous. 2 interceptions in the second half, and a handful of tackles for loss, putting a lot of pressure. It wasn't just one guy coming off the edge or a linebacker. Brian Parker there at nose had a couple tackles for loss. So many guys just playing the edge as well and trying to figure things out to contain the option. And obviously they fumble the football as well in the second half. John Henson comes up with the fumble recovery there. And you guys drive, you get all the way to the goal line and get so close to scoring, but then they have to try to get out of that situation and try to go, the length of the field and score against your defense. And, there's a lot of things that were happening there that late, and just kind of the icing on the cake was Josh Siebold with the pick six. And now I've watched that from a couple different angles now. I had it right on the south goal, right behind the quarterback, that vantage point, which you see on ESPN sometimes with the highlight clip and things like that. But I've seen it. I saw where they were trying to go with kind of the post route there. But Josh did a great job getting his hands up and getting the ball on it, and he finished it off. And you guys get the victory. And it was for some players, I know that winning that game was incredibly important to them. I was talking to a few of them before the game, and we were talking about, it's the only time you get to do this in your life.
Yeah.
And, some people, this is their last time they get to play football this season. You never know when it's your last play, last game kind of thing. So you got to constantly have that mindset where, going in and improve yourself. But
yes, for sure. And it's just one of those things, though, that as with the situation that surrounded the game, and obviously the coaches being former Bethel coaches and these guys playing for them, of course they want to beat their former coaches. With all that being said, for us, it was another game. Like, want to win it, yes, but want to win them all, absolutely. You know what I mean? So it was another game, even though you could say, some people, they really, really wanted this one or whatever. Because if you get this one and you don't get the rest, what was this one worth? That's kind of that's the mindset about it, So we've moved on. Like I said, hats off to Coach Harrison and that program and his program. And I know that he's gonna, for years to come, they're gonna be coming, and we're gonna continue to push and move forward as well. So it's just one of those things where it's just one game. Does it feel good? Yeah, it feels good. But to me, it feels good because you want to win them all. I told you that early in the season, and we get another opportunity coming up here against K-Dub to play football and try to play to the best of our abilities and come away with the win if that's in the cards for us. So again, like I said, yes, feel good, yes, but why? Is it because it's a win in another game? So.
It's kind of like I was talking to you the other day. You woke up the next day and you just feel like, well, that was just another day in your life.
Yeah.
Like kind of a thing.
Sure.
You were at a football game. You played football. You coached a football game. I didn't do anything different in my coverage than I ever do. Yeah. So it's the same old thing that I've been doing for 4 years now. So it was just kind of like, okay, it was just like go on to the next day. It felt good Saturday, and then it's like, okay, life goes on. You got another day.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So the Threshers improved to 2-0. DJ Sears again rushed for 139 and 3 touchdowns in the game for the sophomore quarterback out of Houston. Flipping over to defense for the Threshers, Cade Miller ends up with 10 tackles in the game, 3 tackles for loss. Josh Siebold and Brendan Sanders each with an interception. Siebold ends up with 8 tackles. Jairo Castillo with 7 tackles. And Tate Siebold, probably his best game as a Thresher, with 7 tackles.
Oh, yeah. It was a special thing for both the brothers to play pretty much the whole game together. And then Josh Siebold, congratulations to him. He was just identified as the player of the week, KCAC player of the week defensively. So that's a big thing, to be able to do that playing against your former coach. I know he was, especially, if you know Siebold, man, he's an aggressive dude, man. He's an aggressive dude. We love him. We love him to death. So congratulations to Siebold on getting that another accolade in his long list of accolades in his college career.
Yeah, I noticed the cowboy collar came out for this game, so it was kind of interesting to see that. But It just wasn't it wasn't just those guys. Jesse Garcia has had a few good tackles for you as well. Mm-hmm. It's just the guys that rotate in and can play well for you.
Brian Parker.
Yeah, we mentioned Brian Parker.
Yes.
I joked with him one time on the sideline. I was like, one time you were just laying down and you got credited for the tackle. Like you just tripped the guy as he's trying to step up to pass. But it's great because to talk to those guys about those moments, and I know that they're just having fun out there. Like in the grand scheme of things, and that second half just was a tremendous difference in just the energy on the sideline as well. I mean, you knew what you had from the get-go, and everybody tried to stay focused there in the second quarter. But man, you bring in the energy and just positive vibes on the sideline in that second half of the victory. So, and now the Threshers turn their attentions to the Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes, who are also 2-0 and have yet to be scored on this season. We'll talk about them coming up next here on the Thresher Football Show.
Thresher fans, get ready for the upcoming school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Threshbees Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, new banners in Thresher Gym, equipment for the Gearing Hall weight room, windscreens at Ward Tennis Center, and Thresher Stadium. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history and a booster club that is living out the Bethel College Athletics mission by creating life-changing experiences for our student athletes through 4 levels of membership plus parent and young alumni specials. Athletics is an integral part of the Bethel College experience, and thanks to your support, we look forward to growing our success for the future. Visit BethelThreshers.com/Booster Club to become a member today.
We're kicking off another year here at Bethel College, and we need your help in making this another successful season. Thanks to your generosity in the spring, we were able to purchase championship rings and practice jerseys for our players, giving them a big-time experience. Since then, we've added several new faces to the program, and we couldn't be more excited to get to work molding a group of upstanding young men. All summer long, our guys have been getting after it in the weight room, and since August 5th, we've been hard at work preparing to put a product on the field that honors the tradition of Bethel College football. With your help, we're ready to make this another great year. Thanks for your generosity, and roll on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. John Henson, defensive line from Fort Worth, Texas, and this is my 4th year here at Bethel. I think it's doing good. I think we're all doing our jobs, just playing gap sound defense, and I think we have some good leaders on the D that's just kind of being able to hold the younger guys accountable. Man, I just want to be able to win conference and not have to share the ring, and then just make a playoff run. I know we got the guys to do it. We just got to really hone in and focus on those little things. So, man, I think my favorite game ever has to be probably last year, my junior year. We're playing Southwestern at Winfield, and we ended up winning that game in double overtime. That was a pretty fun game. If we can do the little things right, play gap sound and just be aggressive up front, man, it starts with us. If we can be aggressive up front, then we'll give these guys our best shot, man. This year, man, Ernest Ferrier has brought it every single day. That cat gives me a hard time because I'm an older guy and he's still younger, but man, you gotta love that kid, man. He just wants to play, man. He wants to make plays, and he's been fortunate enough to make some plays this year already. And going into the rest of the season, I think he's gonna be a big contribution to this defense. And then later on down the line in his career too, he's got the chance to be all conference, even make runs for All-American status. So I think he's a good guy, man.
Welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Bethel College 2-0, getting set to take on the Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes on the road in Salina. 7 p.m. kick from Salina. You can watch that on the KCAC network. Dan Page back with head football coach of the Bethel College Threshers, A.B. Stokes, as the Threshers fresh off victories over McPherson and Friends turn their attentions to a team that the program hasn't beat in, I think, 14 years now, Coach. And
good to know.
It has been a while, and they like to remind Bethel, the last couple seasons, it's been a touchdown that separates Bethel and Kansas Wesleyan in those games. Both of them were in North Newton, so back up to Salina for the first time since 2019, and we were just talking during the break about that game, and there was a lot of points scored that day, probably over 100.
Yeah,
and
pretty close.
I think they had about 60 plus, and you guys had about 30 plus in that game. And then Rudy Juarez had a touchdown in that game at the very end. And I think he's the only Thresher still on the team that scored in that game. Maybe Chance Curry. I'd have to go back and watch the tape on that one.
Yeah.
But it's an exciting weekend for football in the KCAC. To recap last week, some interesting games. Tabor defeating McPherson 17-16. I believe that was in McPherson. And then Avila wins against Ottawa by 30. And then Kansas Wesleyan getting the victory again, as well as I think they beat Sterling.
Sterling, 49-0.
There you go, Sterling. And then Southwestern over Bethany College in that football game. So
65-0.
Yep. So it was a lot happening, a lot of evening games, and everybody having to deal with the weather really early in the season. So it's kind of interesting. The forecast for this game this week is going to be hot again, so in the 90s, but a 7 o'clock kick against Kansas Wesleyan should be an exciting matchup for you guys. So just going into this game, Coach, what's kind of the mindset for you and your coaching staff, and you kind of leave that impression on the team?
Yeah, I mean, our mindset is that we have a job to do, and that job is to go and beat Kansas Wesleyan, and we're putting everything that we have this week into going up there to Salina and coming away with the win. And we know it's a tall task. We know that, obviously, like you said, it's been 14 years, over the past, 2 to 3 seasons. Bethel has had some of its best football played ever, and still hasn't been able to come away with a victory in Kansas Wesleyan. But, I believe that our guys, the ones who've been around the past 2 seasons, they know that, and it's something we're definitely it is on the front of our mind. We're not shying away from it. We know that Kansas Wesleyan is a really good football team, but I learned a long time ago, that sometimes you just got to go and, punch a bully in the nose, you know what I mean, and see if they want to fight back. And I'm not saying physically punch them, Kansas Wesleyan in the nose, nobody.
Right.
I mean, I'm saying play really, really hard, and see what happens. And for me, I know we've got a lot of tough guys on the team. I know I don't know what Kansas Wesleyan has when it comes to that. I know they have a lot of good players. But we're just going to go, and we're going to play the best brand of football that we can play in week 3.
Yeah, it's Kansas Wesleyan at home against Bethel. Other games, McPherson is at Ottawa. It should be a good game. Avila is at Bethany, and Friends is at Tabor. Southwestern is at St. Mary. So some interesting games around the conference, all evening games. You can watch them pretty much a lot of them at the same time on the KCAC network. So if one goes to half, you can just flip over to the other. It's kind of cool if you're a really good fan of KCAC football or NAIA football in Kansas. It's a great place to go with KCAC network. And thinking over the years, last couple of years, Kansas Wesleyan, a lot of good skill position guys, a lot of big size as well.
Yeah, they still are.
They still have some really good players that have been there a while, it seems like. And it's going to be tough. White's their quarterback. I think he's number 0 this year.
Yeah, number 0.
Yeah, and some of those guys, their statistics really don't really say that much of them because they've had so many games where they've blown people out. They scored 70 against Friends and then 49 last week against Sterling in that game, and you kind of get everybody some reps and things like that, and those kind of wins. Their running back Alsman, he has 4 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's their leading rusher coming into the game. But it's kind of interesting just to see, they've had some personnel change in their coaching staff, but they're still of the mindset that, they're going to continue Coyote football the way that they've had over the last, it seems like 8 years now up in Salina. So it's going to be very tough. They'd have a lot of different guys to think about stopping. I think Drayvon Macon is another skill position guy. He's just a guy that's all-purpose yard type of football player. He can, in the ground game, the receiving game, and all-purpose yard, and kind of like in special teams as well. Is a very talented player, and it seems like in the recent years, Bethel defense has done a good job of stopping their first, second, and third type.
Weapons.
Yeah, exactly. When they had the football, but it's just that last guy that they can go to, like almost their safety valve. They get it, and it has been very tough to defend them.
Well, I think this week we just gonna game plan on stopping number 5, the 5th best guy. We're gonna find out who it is, and we're gonna say, hey, this is the guy we stopping this week.
Yeah.
If they're gonna have to beat us with 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, well, they've got some good receivers, no doubt, and they definitely have a quarterback who can throw the ball very well at the same time, and it'd be interesting to see good kicker as well. So just a very sound team, and they moved up to number 9 in the national polls. Southwestern going up to number 6. You guys up to 22. I feel like there's a lot of a sense of you guys. You got to take care of business for yourself first, but at the same time, you guys still have a lot to prove. Oh
yeah, man. I mean, we're never. You can win this game, next game after that. That next week, you still got something to prove. What people who have a champion mindset, make no mistake, I have a championship mindset, man. And people who have a champion's mindset, they understand you're only a champion for a day. The very next day is over. I may have said this on the show before. The very next day is over. Like, no one is going to say, hey, these guys beat this team. Let's not show up on that Saturday.
Right.
No one's going to show that. Every Saturday, you got something to prove. If you get into the mindset of thinking, oh, I got something to prove because I haven't proven anything yet, man, that's hogwash, man. You know what I mean? It's like, no, every Saturday you got something to prove. And the only thing you got to prove on a Saturday is that has our work been enough to get the job done? That's it. And if you can consistently prove that, then you'll look back at it, and then it won't matter what you got to prove. You've been to prove it. So, you are right, but you're kind of right by default. We got something to prove every week. You know what I mean? That we go to the playoffs. The first round of the playoffs, we'll have something to prove. You know what I mean? Like, and so forth and so on. Win this game, the very next game. Whoever's at the bottom of the conference, when you play them, you still got something to prove. Because if you don't, then they going to prove something against you.
Right.
And you ain't going to like that.
Yeah, because this program, whether they like it or not, still kind of has a target on its back. People are still wanting to beat Bethel because the recent years of, some success and 6 streak of beating some schools in the conference. And but you guys also are putting targets on some of your opponents as well. Kansas Wesleyan, definitely one of those they want to knock off for the first time in about 14 seasons. I was talking specifically about some of their guys. Tony White, he's thrown for 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And then Nick Alsman, their running back, he's rushed for 193 yards and 4 touchdowns on the season. And they have another running back, Mark Benjamin, who's rushed for 3 touchdowns. Drayvon Macon, a big receiver for them, yet to score a touchdown through the air, but definitely they have 3 different guys with 70-plus receiving yards through the first few games. So definitely a lot of weapons there for the Coyotes. They come out with a spread attack. We've been talking. Your defense has seen a lot of this before for them. A lot of them know what to expect. Last year, Trey Palmer had a huge pick 6 take back against the Coyotes. Just playing very well, playing sound football in that game. And Bethel had a lead in the first half against Kansas Wesleyan, and then the second half they just came in and they made their impact in the game. 2 years ago, they shut Bethel out in the second half. So it was kind of a statement there at the same time. And in last year's game in North Newton, DJ Sears didn't really play that much. Landon Barnes got the start for that game, and we'd yet to see really DJ break out quite yet. You never knew that he was going to be the guy that later on in the season the program relied on, and obviously that experience for him has really carried into this season. So I know he's excited to get his first shot at Kansas Wesleyan.
Yes, he is. We kind of talked about that a little bit as coaches today, saying like, DJ didn't play against these guys last year. Kind of how some of the players in the conference hadn't played against Bethel. So like the running back from McPherson in week 1 didn't play against Bethel last year, and you see the impact that he made. Although we won the game, but DJ didn't play last year, so we're excited to see him put his stamp on this game and see what he can do. And then also we're starting to come into our own. I'll just say that as who we want to be, and what our football is going to look like in every phase of the game. So I think each week is going to get better and better, and we're definitely going to get stronger and stronger. I truly believe that, and we're excited to go play Saturday.
And it's Bethel and Kansas Wesleyan, 7 o'clock kick from Salina. If you can't make it up to Saline County, you can watch the game on KCAC Network, kcacnetwork.com. Really not that too many long road trips on the season, other than going up to Kansas City to take on Avila later in the season. But going up to Kansas Wesleyan, yes, you went to Wichita for your last game, but it didn't necessarily feel like a true road game, and sometimes.
Oh, it felt like a road game to me.
I guess it's just me because I make the drive every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Plus, you had to run into traffic.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's just it's just something confident about playing at home. You go on the road, you're always thinking, what did I forget? You want to make sure all the players are adjusted. Make sure you get there at a decent time, not too early, not too late. You don't want to get guys out of routine. And I can tell you, last week, first game traveling, we were out of routine. They had a soccer game going on. We weren't able to walk the field at the time we like to, which is part of it, right? But then it was raining, so we did our pregame really, really fast. And then we had an hour and 20 minutes of downtime because we got there a little too early. So it's going on the road is the road. You got to until we've done it enough as a staff together, it's something that we're tweaking and adjusting. So going on the road it's still something. It's something to be that takes preparation and planning and a lot of thought and a lot of detail to do it right and make sure you do it in a way that you keep your guys in a routine as much as possible, so that they're 100% confident going into the game.
Yeah, focus definitely has been the word of recent weeks. You got a new word for this week's game?
Yes, sir.
What's that?
Faith.
Faith.
Oh yeah.
Why faith?
Because you just said it. They ain't beat these guys in 14 years. Faith is believing in what you haven't seen yet. And so we're just telling our guys, you got to believe it. You got to believe it. They got to see it first. And that started on Sunday. I told these guys I want them eating breakfast like they're going to beat Kansas Wesleyan. Everything they do, I want them to do it. As if they got to be able to see it and visualize it. So we're going to have faith. And it's not, it's not just for selfish ambition, man. These guys are going to need to have some faith at some point in their life. You know what I mean? And we're just teaching them how to rely on it and just really, really, because faith without works is dead. You know what I mean? So we're telling these guys we want them working as if they're gonna go and beat a really, really good football team on their home field. So that's the word, and we're going with it, man.
A lot of things to think about with that. Walking by faith, not by sight.
2 Corinthians 5:7. That's the verse of the week.
There you go.
We walk by faith, not by sight. That's it.
Yeah, and that's perfect for this upcoming game. So it should be a really good contest. It's the number 9 Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes at home against the number 22 Bethel College Threshers. And it seemed like back in 2019, the last time that Bethel played up there, they were playing for a spot potentially in the playoffs. You guys the program had just got ranked for the first time in a long time, and little did we know that the next 4-5 seasons now, the program at some point has been ranked in each of those seasons, and that is an incredible feat. A thing that a lot of people that are attached to Bethel College before, during, and right now are definitely proud of at the same time. So should be an interesting game against Kansas Wesleyan. The Coyotes on defense, they are led in tackling by Lucas Rockford. He's a senior linebacker, 13 tackles to his name, and coming into this game. And Devontae Gabriel, a player that definitely has given Bethel some trouble within the last few years. Julian Uriosti, Reese Nebel from Heston on the team as well for Kansas Wesleyan. So they've had some guys that have been there, know how to bring the heat as far as defensively. But when you we haven't really talked about this yet, but what do you feel like your offense needs to do to first of all focus on some things that you need to improve on from other games, and then adjust to what they do defensively?
Yeah, it's football. You continue to get better within the schematics and the technique of what it is that you're doing. I think our guys are taking a jump, and we're gonna kind of go to our roots on a few things this week. You know what I mean, and put these guys in the best position possible to be successful. And we want to give these guys a chance. We definitely want to, once we get down into the red zone, we don't ever want to come up short like that again. So we got some things that we're going to do to make sure that we put our guys in the best position to be successful. And like I tell them, play hard, play fast, play together, and the rest take care of itself.
We mentioned DJ Sears. Obviously, they're going to be keying him a lot. Bethel also, the rushing game has been established as a strength for your offense. I mean, it has been for a few years, and just kind of continually trying to establish some passing in there as well to keep the defense respecting that as well. We haven't really seen that huge pass play from Bethel as far as in the conference games this season. So it'd be interesting to see. We've seen a lot of passes out to the flat kind of area as well, trying to stretch the defense at the same time. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's just one of those things where when you line up in a spread, sometimes it gets a little harder to pass because they'll play secondary guys a little further back, and they're not going to be too quick to come up because when they see you out there with 3 receivers or 4 receivers, something like that, they're anticipating the pass is the most dangerous threat. You know what I mean? So, but we're continuing to work on it, and I know it's going to get better and better, and part of it is just not really being a pass-oriented team over the last few years, and just getting accustomed to some of the things that you have to do when you're trying to threaten people vertically down the field without sucking everybody up and going play action.
And you definitely you have the weapon, that receiver, to do it. You just have to establish that, give your DJ some time to get the ball out to those guys. I saw some kind of stepping up from a few different receivers in blocking is so huge in your offense. At the same time, Isaac Harkness, the freshman, he learned from a mistake in one play and then turned around and made a great play.
Yes, he
blocking
did.
A few. I don't remember if it was the next play or a few plays later, the last time he ran a play. But it's just making sure that everybody's doing their job.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. And like I said, we're locked in. We're ready to get better in practice this week, and I hope we get similar, if not better, support out at Kansas Wesleyan like we had this last week. I want to say that publicly, man. The fans were awesome. Man, they stuck with us this past week, and I'm pretty sure we outnumbered the home team with our fans and our student section. They were awesome. It's something that Bethel's been known for a while here is their fans and the following and the student sections, the Stone Zone. So I definitely wanted to shout Bethel fans out and say, man, I hope they all can make it up to Salina Saturday, 7 p.m. is the kickoff. I believe
Yes,
7 p.m.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. So and we're gonna do the best we can to sing Father Abraham.
There you go. It's the Coyotes in Bethel, 7 o'clock kick from Salina. And go to the KCACnetwork.com or you get the KCAC Network app on your device, on a tablet, smart TV, whatever you have on there. You can look it up and you can get the KCAC Network to watch the game. Yeah, you were right. The Stone Zone, definitely loud. It did not matter what the weather was whatsoever. I know there's going to be some soccer on campus this coming Saturday. It might take away from that a little bit, but hopefully there's going to be a good crowd out there at Salina, and it should be a pretty good football game between the Threshers and the Coyotes. Well, Coach, any last thoughts for this week's game?
No, man, we're just ready to get back to work. I appreciate everything that you do and Bethel and these guys, and roll on. We're ready to get it.
There you go. Well, for Coach A.B. Stokes, I'm Dan Page. Thanks for watching the Thresher Football Show. Roll on.